Hello guys, Mrs. Silk here, and today I want to talk about anxiety most guys have when it comes to beautiful women. I mean, if I look at myself years ago, I was horrible with women. I was absolutely horrible. And number one, I never knew what to talk about. So many times I just left it at her. Whatever she wanted to talk about, we spoke about it. But for me, myself, couldn't really come up with anything. And just expressing myself normally was also something almost impossible. Because that beautiful woman was standing there, making me nervous, making me shake, in the same time as I found her really beautiful and way out of my league. And when I say really beautiful, I meant basically every woman that were attractive enough was like really beautiful. That was how I felt. And as soon as I saw something really beautiful, I just felt like I don't really deserve it, or I'm not up to the standard to embrace that beautiful woman. It's almost like all the women were out of my league because I was just weird and awkward. That is how I felt for so many years of my life, really. And when I look back at why everything was like that, I can actually come to the conclusion that I was, and hear me out, this is so important, I was way too self-conscious. Meaning that every time I look at a woman and she was really beautiful and I did have a chance to talk with her, it was all about me. But not in the way that I spoke about my interesting trip to Asia, to Europe, my interesting work, my hobbies. No, it was not about that. It was more about being self-conscious in terms of, oh, do I look good enough? Do I look bad? Do I come across as weird? Do I come across as awkward? I don't know what to say now. Maybe she think I'm boring. Maybe she think that I'm, Asian, and she's not Asian. And as we know, as I thought, as a limited belief, Asians are not attractive towards other ethnicities, specifically when it comes to Asian men. And all those damaging limited beliefs run through my head. So I was always super self-conscious, unconsciously, about myself, which actually brought my confidence level to the bottom. Because I wasn't confident. I had zero confidence. And when I look at the main element that actually made me really insecure was precisely that, being way too self-conscious. So I came across something amazing when I was studying my master degrees in both behaviorism and communication. And that was the shift attention methodology. So there was one specific thing that just changed everything, and that was like, take care of your self-conscious, meaning that don't be self-conscious when you're talking with people. Shift your attention from yourself and put it towards the other person. Put it towards her. In the beginning, I tried to do that, but I just didn't know how to do it. Okay, I would think about her only, but then what? Aha, with the mindset comes behaviors. So if I'm going to make it all about her, I should do something. My behavior should change, right? I didn't thought about that. Well, now I do. So instead of thinking about how I come across in her eyes, I instead focused on learning about her and finding out about her. And when I was thinking about being curious, it led me to actually use behavior to find out who she really is. And I did a lot of question investigations of how to actually ask the right questions to make everything interesting. And the more I dig into it, the more I start learning about how to ask the right questions in order to not make it sound like an interview, to make it really interesting. And you have to go aligned with my curiosity. So, for example, if I want to find out her biggest interest in life, how can I ask to really find that out? Not only about what that is, but also the underlying reason of why she think that is her biggest passion. And I work with myself like, okay, so if I'm going to get this one right, I just going to focus on one direction. I'm going to find out what her biggest interest is. So I implemented that mindset of being curious, and the behavior was to find out her biggest interest through the right questions. That was just the start. And once I started learning to ask the right questions, then I knew that there are other tools I can use in the conversation to make it really engaging. Sharing something about myself in the right way, listen to her, validating her expression. Maybe I can label her feelings in a specific way. Maybe I can actually reflect back in a certain way, meaning that she said something about something that she really, really liked, and I could listen to that and actually reflect back, give that back to her in the right way, so she can really understand that I understood her. And I learned all that, during my master studies, and I applied the really good theory into the practical world of dating and attracting women, and I just saw how everything changed. And I also saw how, when it comes to likability, how I became a very likable person, which I strongly know and believe that it is the first step in order to be able to attract and date women, for example. So the point of this video is for you to really get away from your own self-conscious. I know it's so easy to think so much about yourself when you are talking with a woman, like negative thoughts such as, am I good enough? Oh my gosh, she's out of my league. What am I even doing here? I mean, just listen to me. I sound weird. I sound awkward. Oh no, I don't want to be here. I'm not good enough. All those things just coming for your own self-conscious thoughts, and you're doing it, without thinking. It's like part of you at this moment. And we, I'm saying we, but we as men who have that problem have to break out of it, and we have to make the conscious decision to get away from that thinking and give a purpose in conversations that make us go away from that thinking towards a different direction. And that direction is to focus on the other person. All your attention should be towards the other person. And then what we should do is to adopt behaviors that support that curious mindset of making everything towards the other person, at least the attention towards the other person. Then you should share a little bit about yourself in the right way and so on, but your main direction is to find out about the other person, because there's so much to discover if you just know how to do it. Anyway guys, I hope you like this video, and I see you in the next one.